works like a charm every time. Power!
You lost for me in the night. Shout 'em out, it's burning right. Kill us now, but we're too wise. Bring a laughter to our eyes. To rise down the sky. So long dead like seas, waiting to be born.
You may be wondering why we are doing these videos now. Well, we had some downtime in the studio due to the fact that there were some renovations that needed to be done. So rather than just sit around idle, since we are compulsive overachievers and workaholics, we thought, well, why not use this moment to make some videos? And that's just what we did. Therefore, since we could not be in the studio, we put all of our energy into filming. And then I started editing. One thing led to another, and one small idea just grew and grew, like everything does with our projects, and here we are, with a whole bunch of videos to unleash.
In the dark water stirred with the sound of her calling. Wrapped in black luminescence and clouds.
It was a nice way to renew our friendship with each other, to renew our commitment to the group, and our commitment to onstage energy. It was a way to get back into the live mode again, because making videos is performing. You are under the spotlight, you're under the camera eye, and you are performing.
Die in the sea, bearing hatred of me. This war is all against all. For what you transgress, we
Visions of Eden, The Lilith Project, a barbaric, romantic movie of the mind. Visions of Eden is most definitely not about happiness, peace, contentment, or eternal tranquility. It is in fact the complete opposite. It is about disorder, strife, struggle, dominance, the annihilation of a culture, the annihilation of a way of life, and the violation and annihilation of a human being. I have based this work around the history of the destruction of paganism, Gnosticism, and the desecration and eradication of the goddess principle that once dwelt so freely within divinity. A massive blow was struck against these early beliefs. First, due to the rise of the Father God principle. And second, by the development and rise of organized religions. The Visions of Eden album concerns Lilith, first wife of Adam, he of biblical fame. As in Adam and Eve and the apple, the snake, and all that fig leaf and rib propaganda, plus ancient Sumerian myths concerning Lilith's relationship with Adam, Eve, and God. However, that being said, in actuality, it is really about today, our world, modern times, and the idea of how we might have arrived here at this strange place we now currently inhabit. I subtitled the album, A Barbaric Romantic Movie of the Mind, and I ask you kindly to remember that regardless of any ancient myth-like qualities the nature of my tale may summon, invoke or induce, everything that occurs here is actually happening now in real time in the mind of a specific woman while she's being raped. The minute-long introduction to our new video for the song, God Above God, sums up this idea and in fact summarizes the whole concept of the album. And I charge you to remember that this story is not over. Not yet. Oh no. Not yet.
Accursed, lot of snakes, Black Madonna, erotic corpse of misery. Bear the wounds of our armor's perversion.
There are 11 songs on the album. It kicks off in true metal fashion with Immortal I Stand. dawn with the rising cobra. This is a very unique song for us. It is quite long, epic, and heavy, and it has this kind of fugue-like, contrapuntal middle section. This fugue-like bit paves the way for what comes later on in the song in quite a dramatic manner.
Forces one with the dark. Wild orchid, serpent sunrise, down the halls of the moon. Fierce your eyes open, craving seashells, pale and strange in your face. Tempting torture, rape desire, Jews are born in this place. Rise, your mind, be free. A vision of my black deeds. Your taste, embrace that which remains unseen. Now, by the tigress, by Euphrates, by the lies that we've known. Frightened boy child, kill what you love. Spirits war in your soul. Your mind opens in strange prisons, peering lust through your face. Fortune's fire, rape desire, shoes are torn in this place. Rise to know your place, forever on your knees. Your face erase till nothing remains. Run from my
We did a lyric video for the song with the ineffable name. You can find it on our Virgin Steel TV channel.
Of course.
I despise you and will not obey divine commands. Side by side.
We also previously completed a video for Black Light on Black. This song and video features Lilith confronting and raging at Eve and Adam. Here, I also introduced the idea of what might have caused the real fall from grace or paradise. Not the eating of any worm-ridden apple, but Adam's ultimate defection from Lilith. He prefers to cling to his idea of superiority with himself as Lord and Master to the submissive Eve, rather than try to explore the potential of equality with Lilith.
Fuck you, Adam! Fuck you, Eve! Fuck your God and his infernal needs! Fuck your children! Poison seed! Like a cancer, you can see! Hell's incantations follow this curse. Spells, incantations swallow this curse. Hell's incantations follow my curse. Tragedy falls on us all.
So what was great about the Lilith opera that was performed was that it was based off of some of the earlier versions of the songs and the cuts that you hear on the Visions record. So the people that were able to go and see, and I remember for the premiere, they came from all over Europe to this little town in South Germany, and it was amazing to see all of these, fans and opera lovers alike coming together in one place, and it was a treat because they were able to hear it in a sense where none of these versions were ever released to the public. They were performed live, and in a sense they were custom compositions for the opera itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was just a observe that was really great.
I wrote like an exorbitant amount of music that didn't, some of it that appeared in the opera did not make it to the record, which there's some instrumental things and whatnot, these grandiose classical pieces, which maybe one day will come out, and vice versa. And there was also a few things that I brought that story further from Visions of Eden into the Black Light Bacchanalia. So that is the actual conclusion of the little thing. And some of those songs that were on that record were in the opera, like In a Dream of Fire was on there. I wrote both of those records almost at the same time, a lot of it. Yeah, and they share that same story, if you will. Yeah, I'd like to do an exorbitantly grand, over-the-top, what is called Visions of the Bacchanalia, where I bring the two records together, along with every other piece that I've written for those two things, and put that out as a massive thing. Maybe that'll happen, who knows, maybe we'll do the movie. Maybe someday we'll do the movie of the thing.
Visions of Eden, the movie.
Yeah, the barbaric-romantic movie of the mind. Next on the album is Bone Dust. Bone Dust we recently recorded in a stripped-down, live orchestral version for the Ghost Harvest Vintage 1 album. Bone Dust is epic yet bluesy, so translating it to the style performed on Ghost Harvest was pretty painless. Here, on the Visions of Eden album, this song explores the torment that Lilith begins to endure from the three black angels. And speaking of angels, the next track on the album is Angel of Death. This is quite a dramatic piece. Here, the crafty angels contrive something truly dreadful. They devise a way to convince Lilith that in return for her willfulness, stubbornness, independence, pride, and femaleness, she must become the killer of children. And thus the process begins where she is dramatically transformed, turned from the beautiful, noble idea of the great goddess, Good Mother, into the Terrible Mother, an evil demon repugnant to all women. In madness and rage, Lilith swallows their poison bait. She succumbs to the Black Angel's abuse, and in this depressed state, laments her situation. With the angel's insidious damage done, infection sets in. However, Lilith's pure essence, her divine core, cannot fully accept or comprehend why she must become this dark, vile, hideous thing. She questions, she cries out, she begs, she implores the God above God to deliver her from this tragic fate. The Black Angels, confronted with the knowledge that the nobility in Lilith's nature requires greater efforts at corruption, manipulate the scene. They prey on her yearning and contrive for her to invoke the power of her sacred magic. This conjures Samael, the hidden god.
In the dark water stirred with the sound of her calling. Wrapped in black luminescence and clouds I appear. Feel me blunder and sleep when nobody knows. I am calling you back.
The Hidden God video features a very atmospheric take on what the lyrics describe, and continues in a somewhat similar vein to what we had filmed and released for the other two video clips that I mentioned earlier, When Dusk Fell and Black Light on Black.
The Hidden God.
With his influence and trickery, the feminine divine is finally overcome, seduced, perverted, and ultimately corrupted.
Let's play another track from Visions of Eden. This is God Above God. You want to set us up with that one?
That's like the midpoint of the record where Lilith is like saying that they've tried to, the Black Angels have turned her into this idea that she must become the child slayer. She must be the killer.
Which we're going to play after. We're going to play later. So.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. The killer of children. When there was the coming of the Father God, they wanted to eradicate the female principle of divinity. How were they going to do that? They had to make some kind of a smear campaign, slander, and say that, okay, the goddess was the eater of children or whatever, and this is where that idea comes from. Mm-hmm. So the Black Angels in this point of the record is trying to turn her into this thing, and she was like, she appeals to the God above God. How shall I become this? And how can I ever become clean? That's one of the lines in the lyric. And that's what rape victims say. How shall I ever become clean again? Right. This kind of thing. So it's about the rape of a whole philosophy, as well as a very specific human being.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
God above God.
This is God Above God by Virgin Steele.
God above God, release me from this fate. God above God, release me from all this rage. All my soul shall drink much blood in the heavens. Your angels will know the rage of creation. Why should I think of this? How shall I ever
In a nutshell, that's the thing. You have this character, you have this feminine divine, Lilith, and she is like appealing to this her male counterpart. It's like, you know, like two lovers appealing to each other, saying, you gotta aid me. I don't want to become this horrific thing that the rest of the world wants me to be. I want to get back. Let's join together in our full emanation and shed light on the universe. And that track, people ask me, where do you get like the ideas for songs from? What are you trying to do? What is your purpose with this song, right? And I think it's kind of encapsulated in some of those lyrics. I tell people, all I've ever tried to do from a songwriting standpoint is that I go outside and I look out and I see trees, I see the sky, I see clouds. Are the trees woven into the sky? Is the sky woven into the trees? And that's kind of like what one of the lyrics has to do with something like that. All I'm trying to do is say, fuck, if I could only make something as beautiful as that, then I've spent my time well on the planet. And that's my modus operandi. And that song deals with that. And I don't know, it sums up, I think, a lot of what that album has to say. That cry for love, that cry for acceptance, that longing for one person for another being, saying, hey, I'm here, accept me in all my wildness, all my sanity, all my completeness. Can you hang with that? You fucking, you get the balls enough, you got the ovaries enough to fucking hang with me? Let's go.
Ed, what does God Above God mean to you?
To me, I mean, well, of course, that magnificent chorus just haunts me. And I remember when I took a shot at the guitar solo. I think it was a one take. And I think I recorded it through a very small amplifier. Just plugged in and the track rolled by, and it's a spontaneous song. Your attention's focused on that. Every note, every inflection of David's voice is incredible on that song. And it'll come and haunt you. That song, you can't get that chorus out of your head. It's just incredible, really. It's one of the key tracks on the album too, I think.
I think it is. I think it is. It's just it's got such an immense sort of
Passion.
As mythologically based as it is, it still has its roots in reality, and the reverberations of this dynamic shift are still going on today as we speak.
At this point in the album, Lilith becomes the child slayer. Eve and all women of the world begin their eternal lament, represented by When Dusk Fell.
When dusk I saw you dead on the ground as dusk fell. Black lightning falls in the shades now.
When Dusk Fell.
As dusk fell, I still remember your kiss. When dusk fell, white as the snow, black lightning struck on the ground.
The struggle continues. Visions of Eden. This story is not over. Not yet.
Oh no.
Not yet.